Louisville, our city is coming alive. Everywhere you look, new buildings are going up. In just a few short years, we've seen a heartwarming renaissance, a commitment to the future by business and government. They believe an investment in Louisville will be good for all of us. So far, it has been. The Galleria, the Broadway project. The heart of the city is beating strongly.
Tonight, another major investment in Louisville, a commitment to everyone who seeks the vitality of entertainment, the comfort and beauty of the lively arts. The investment, the Kentucky Center for the Arts, a cultural and architectural landmark for all the citizens of Kentucky, and for the resident arts groups, a home for all seasons. Hello, I'm Dave Wilson.
And I'm Lydia Copeland. Tonight is opening night for the brand new Kentucky Center for the Arts. Dave and I, along with Jim Mitchell and Jackie Hayes, will be bringing you the first night festivities in just a little while. Right now we're standing on the Belvedere, which is the backside of the Arts Center, an equally beautiful view.
It certainly is. And tonight will be a star-studded evening with a major performance on the new stage produced by George Stevens Jr. and guest celebrities in the audience from Broadway to Hollywood.
The Center for the Arts here will be home for the 5 major arts organizations in Louisville: the Louisville Orchestra, the Kentucky Opera Association, Stage 1, the Children's Theater, the Broadway series, and the Louisville Ballet. The artistic director for the Louisville Ballet is Alan Jones.
The ballet company is working hard on the next production. It's the Nutcracker, this year's special holiday treat premiering December 26th at the new Center for the Arts.
Well, we haven't done the Nutcracker for 5 years, and so it's going to be like a brand new thing for us and for most of the dancers in the company now. We're excited about it. It's going to be a beautiful production. It's beautifully designed by David Walker, a British designer. And the costumes are very elaborate, very beautiful. The scenery is spectacular. Tchaikovsky's music, of course, you can't beat, really. And, of course, it's the traditional Christmas thing to do.
What will the new center mean to the Louisville Ballet?
Well, of course, first and foremost, it's going to be a beautiful house to go to. It's going to be much more comfortable for us. You know, the stage is going to be bigger, which means that we can expand the productions, do the more elaborate productions that we'd like to, if somebody funds them, that is. And also the dressing room areas are fantastic. Each dressing room has showers and bathrooms. They're all on stage level, which is, I think, unprecedented, you know, in the history of theatre, that all the dressing rooms are on stage level. So the artists come first, I think. Yeah.
The conveniences that you've longed for.
Yeah.
Now, you switched from Cinderella to
Yes.
the Nutcracker. What prompted you to make that switch?
It was very popular. I think people liked Cinderella very much. But even in the first year, they said, oh, it's wonderful, but when are you doing Nutcracker again? So apart from anything, it's public demand.
As Alan Jones puts it, the ballet speaks for itself. You can get the whole story through the expressions of the dance. And while we await the premiere of the Nutcracker, we want to show off the Louisville Ballet's fine talent by sharing some of the highlights of Cinderella with you.
Opera Association has been in existence for over 30 years here in Louisville. It was founded by Moritz von Baumhard, who will be honored later tonight for his accomplishments. It took a lot of hard work to bring this sort of art to Louisville back in the 1950s. But over the years, it grew and grew, and tonight will become a large part of this beautiful new center.
30 years ago, when Kentucky Opera was founded, there were only 11 opera companies in America. We are the 12th oldest, and there are now 88, of which more than half were founded in the 70s. One thing people in Louisville have not yet seen is a truly grand opera done in a truly grand opera house. I mean, the history of Kentucky Opera in terms of theatres has been a history of compromise, shoehorning productions into auditoriums which were never designed for opera. The Kentucky Center for the Arts, and I say this at the risk of annoying my colleagues in the other arts organizations, the Kentucky Center for the Arts is an opera house. You can call the Whitney Auditorium the world's greatest bluegrass auditorium or the world's second greatest concert hall if you like. It's none of these things. It's an opera house, and it was designed by the architects to look, feel and smell like an opera house. Now this will have a terrific impact on the ballet, which traditionally plays in a full-blown opera house. It will have a terrific impact on the opera company when people see the art form in its proper setting.
The Opera Association's first production in its new home will be La Bohème. This is their production of The Tales of Hoffmann, and it got marvelous reviews.
The Louisville Orchestra is one of the premier regional orchestras in the country. They've premiered in New York, played at the White House, and made history with innovative programs. Now they too have a marvelous new home at the Kentucky Center for the Arts. And that fact is one that influenced its new conductor, Lawrence Layton Smith, in taking the job.
This is really a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be present or to be conducting at the opening of a major arts center in the country, especially one that looks as beautiful as this, too. There were two things that made me want to take this position. That was one of them. Well, there are more than two, but two major things, and one was the new music program that this orchestra has. Now, ever since I was a kid, I had bought the first edition records with all the modern music on it and everything, and so everybody in the whole country knows about the Louisville Orchestra by virtue of these records. Now, many people associated with the orchestra in this city, I've talked to, they sort of felt, well, it could be an albatross around our neck because it loses money. The recording program doesn't make money, it really loses, and so the funds get siphoned off into this program. But I keep telling people, in terms of national exposure for this orchestra, it's made a tremendous difference. Throughout the country, you say Louisville Orchestra, they say, oh yeah, rather than where's that or something like that. Really, it identified this orchestra. It made a niche for the orchestra that is to be envied.
Well, everyone is so excited, of course, about the new center, but what will it mean specifically to the orchestra and to you to be working there?
Already what it means to us is something really phenomenal. The first day we were in there, the very first rehearsal, we were back into the stage area. And by the way, that stage area is large enough for 3 orchestras comfortably. But there's the shell that sort of provides the line of demarcation, and the rest of the stage will be used for opera, whatever. And we were back into the shell, and the sound was not good. We couldn't hear each other. The first couldn't hear the cellos, and it was sort of disastrous. Well, I shouldn't say disastrous. It was good, but when you go into a new place like that, you're expecting perfection, And I had expressed this concern to Chris Jaffe, who was a real genius at doing this kind of thing. And so we decided to move the orchestra further out for Thursday morning's rehearsal. We put the pit up, and then we could move the orchestra out a little bit. And it was dramatically better. And so we decided for last night's rehearsal, a little further out, about another foot. So we are really out over where the pit area is, right at the proscenium line. And the sound is fantastic. Oh, anyway, and it's possible to hear certain things in the orchestra that we never were able to hear at Macaulay.
Let's talk for a moment about what's going to be performed on that grand opening night and the fanfare and Gould's work. And how do you feel about that opportunity?
Oh, I guess in August. We were sort of late getting started, but we knew we had to do a commission work, so I just called Morton and said, will you do this? And he thought about it and called me back the next day. He said, sure. And he's up to his neck in commissions. I mean, he's an important composer and has a lot of commissions. Well, he turned this work out in a very short amount of time because he really was anxious to do it. And he liked the idea of, he knows Louisville very well. He knows about the Derby and, that trumpet call, he incorporates that into the piece. And then Old Kentucky Home is also in this piece, but in a very disguised way. If you really listen carefully, you hear that too. So it's really an indigenous piece to us. And it's perfect. It's 4.5 minutes long. It's witty. It's called Flourishes and Gallop. And Gallop, you see. And it's, oh, it's really wonderful.
Well, wonderful is the word for Mr. Smith's enthusiasm, and it's catching. Without a doubt, we're in for one of the most thrilling and beautiful orchestra seasons ever here in Louisville. We'll be right back with more from the home for all seasons, the Kentucky Center for the Arts.
I sat down one evening within a small cafe, a 40-year-old waitress.
One of the main goals of the Kentucky Center for the Arts is entertaining and educating children and young audiences. They say they're just waiting to see one big yellow school bus after another roll up to the center, bringing children from all over Kentucky to enjoy music, drama, theater, and educational programs and films. That's why they're holding the big gala premiere night tonight. They want to raise the $1 million it will take to finish the Moritz von Baumhart Theater, which will be home for Stage 1, the children's theater. Moses Goldberg is the director of Stage 1.
The Baumhart Theater is very exciting because, first of all, it's designed as a theater for young audiences. There are only 2 other theaters in the United States that were designed for young audiences, for professional theaters for young audiences. So that it's really an exceptional gift from the Commonwealth of Kentucky to the children. How do you design a theater for children? Some things are obvious. Kids are shorter than adults, so you want the seats to be raised a little bit so you can see over them into the stage, so that when you go into the Baumhart, you'll see that it's much steeper than the Whitney even. That's because of the sight lines, so the little heads can see over the seat in front of them. Every seat is designed to be the minimum distance from the stage, and so that the child can have eye contact with the actor. That's also very important to young people because their relationship with the actor is very special. It's almost like a priest, you know. And so we tried to create a space in which they could have that relationship.
So you must be very excited about this opening coming up soon.
It's certainly is a dream come true here, and we don't open the Baumhart until January. We're finishing it with the proceeds of tonight's festivities, and hoping to be ready by January with Our Town, which is a play for older children.
There will be a lot of people happy to see that opening.
So nobody more happy than I am, I assure you.
One of the most exciting presentations by Stage 1 this season will be a new play called The Glass Christmas Tree. It was written by 2 veteran writers, Ewell Cornett and Billy Ed Wheeler, who wrote the Kenny Rogers hit, Coward of the County.
Well, I entered a play contest in West Virginia, and I flunked out of that one. But Moses Goldberg, the director of Stage 1 here, was one of the adjudicators, and he liked my idea, and through a good friend named Ewell Cornett, who wrote the music for this play, he knew Moses from some time back, so he called Moses and said, "Hey, if you like Billy Ed's idea, why don't you commission him to write you a play with the same theme?" And Moses liked the idea, but he said, "I have one stipulation, it has to have Christmas in it." So that really turned me on. I thought, wow, a children's play in 1908, set in a glass factory with Christmas coming up. Bells.
I've never done this before. I've written a lot of songs and a lot of shows, but I never had to tune the bells. Because his father was a glass blower, we had to have glass bells, and that's what it's about. In fact, they have to be in tune because they have to be played.
May we hear an example?
Sure.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Oh, it's gorgeous. A whole second objective of the play is his father gave him a set of bells, and one of them broke. So that when he plays the tune we give him of the bells and hits that broken one, of course it doesn't play. So Whisper, which is the name of the boy, Whisper gets up every night after working 14, 15 hours a day, sneaks out of his bed, back down at night when no one's there, and tries to blow a bell like his daddy did and tune it to fit the bells, and he can't do it. But of course in the end, when he's playing the bells, we hear the final bell, and it's his dad coming in.
Happy ending.
Yes.
The show we're rehearsing now, The Glass Christmas Tree, will perform in the Whitney, which is the large hall, which is the one where the opening festivities are tonight. It's a Broadway show. This is not the sort of thing we could even, would probably want to try to do in the little Baumhart Theater. This is a big show with a live orchestra, with a big set, dancing and singing, and it's an original show which we commissioned for the opening of the center by 2 sort of sons of Kentucky, Billy Ed and Ewell, and we're quite excited about having a chance, first of all, to do a new work, to bring to children's dramatic literature a new piece, because there isn't a lot of good stuff for family audiences, and we hope that this will be a play that will be done for years by a lot of different theaters in contribution to that repertoire. And of course, we're excited that we're doing it first, and December 3rd is the world premiere.
Hello, Dolly. Well, hello, Dolly.
What could be more exciting than a great big Broadway show? Well, the Broadway series presented by the Louisville Theatrical Association brings the big shows right to Louisville, instead of you having to go to New York. The new Kentucky Center for the Arts will be home for these shows, too.
The center has been a long dream, and the Broadway series has been my love for the last 5 years. And to see us get to the point where we can present the very finest touring companies in the very finest, most up-to-date house is really a dream come true for the entire board of the Louisville Theatrical Association, which is the presenting group for the Broadway series. We have the, first of all, the very best shows that Broadway has to offer. Without the very best shows, no house, no advertising is going to cause people to come out. But on top of that, this house allows us some other flexibility with regard to ticket pricing. We have a broader range of ticket prices now, some as low as $10, or for Lena Horne even $7.50, which we were not able to do before. So this house has allowed us to do quite a number of things in that direction.
That's why the lady is on twang.
We opened with the exciting Lena Horne, the lady and her music, who played on Broadway for over 2 years and never to an empty seat. And it looks like the way ticket sales are going now that same thing is going to happen here. Then in January we have Pump Boys and Dinettes, which is described as a high-octane rockabilly musical that played on Broadway for about 1.5 years. Then the classic show, Camelot, with Richard Harris, that everybody knows about, and I'm hoping that everybody in Louisville is going to get a chance to see. That'll be in February. Then Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, which is the show that the creators of Evita and Jesus Christ Superstar and Cats produced. So that will be in March. And then we have a 5th show that we're still working on that we'll present later on in the spring.
When that curtain first opens, how are you going to feel?
Oh, like a dream come true.
The colors of my life,
The colors of my life
are bountiful and bold.
are softer than a breeze.
So you can see there's more than opera and ballet here. Something for everyone in every part of Kentucky.
As they say at the center, it is the center of it all for entertainment, a spectrum.
Oh, Lydia, we better get ready for the big gala opening.
That's right, Dave. We'll be joining Jim Mitchell and Jackie Hayes inside, and we'll be greeting stars and celebrities as they arrive for this major event in the life of Louisville. So stay right there.
We'll be right back to this Home for All Seasons in Louisville.